Alright, so a little bit of backstory about this. At my standard job, there's this break room I used to go to all the time for my lunch break because nobody goes in there. Why? Because there's no signal there at all. If you wanted to scroll through social media or watch anything and you didn't have it downloaded prior, good luck trying to get it to connect. It was the best place to eat in solitude, which my introverted self did all the time. But what did I do during that time? I had no signal, so I did what every normal person does when you had no data or signal on your phone. You play the free games. And for me, that was Plants vs. Zombies, the original game from 2009. I've had nostalgia for this game ever since I played it as a kid in 2012 on the iPad, and I like to revisit it every now and then on my phone whenever I'm in situations like this. While playing the game, my little artist brain went, I wonder what the plants would look like if I personified them, and when I got home, I drew these two designs of pea shooter and sunflower. Harmless fun designs, right? Oh, I was not expecting that. Hello friends, it's Light. If you don't follow me on TikTok, you might have not known that back in March of 2022, I accidentally had my personified versions of Plant vs. Zombie plant designs go viral on TikTok. It's something I consider both a blessing and a curse. And the majority of the audience loved it, which I really appreciated, and a lot of you guys wanted me to draw all the plants within the franchise, and I was like, oh man, I could not possibly do that with all my other priorities at the time. On TikTok, I even did a couple more parts before I was like, yeah, I'm kinda done with this. But one day in the far future, I was like, I don't think I could ever live with myself if I didn't finish all the plant designs that I kind of have burning in the back burner of my head. So slowly but surely, I was eventually able to finish the series on TikTok as well as draw all the original plants. Wait, all of them? It looks like I'm missing some on TikTok, and that's because I wanted to reveal them in this video. With this video, I'm gonna be displaying all the PvZ character designs as well as hidden lore and story behind them. So with that being said, I give you this video's title, What If Plants vs. Zombies Was an Anime/Webtoon? Alright, so we're gonna start off with a long list of disclaimers. I do not own the characters of Plants vs. Zombies themselves, only the designs and the story that comes with this new creative twist. I've incorporated as much canon as I could into these characters, but not entirely. Please be advised that these are my personal interpretations of the personifications, regardless of canon. I will only be doing plants from the original game, since it's the only one I'm familiar with, so please don't ask me about other plants that are from this game. This is purely just for fun, and this idea is not mine entirely. Please feel free to make your own interpretations of the plants if you're an artist and want to experiment. The story takes place in a zombie apocalyptic world and is told in a second-person POV with the main character, you. Yes, you the viewer are a part of the story. There are zombies on the loose, but somehow they only want your brain and yours alone. Frantic, you're unsure what to do, seeing that you have no protection whatsoever. Society has deemed you as a threat, seeing that you're the reason why all zombies are attacking the community. All seems lost until you're approached by a man willing to help you out, Crazy Dave. With his help, he's able to recruit an army of soldiers who has sworn to protect you and the community around you. Your troops consist of many different people with many different abilities. Some are regular folk, but also to your surprise, some are superhuman. One thing that you all have in common is that you have been outcasted, thrown out to defend yourself, but because of that, you're all fighting together to help protect one another and defeat the source of this outbreak. As the head of the troops, you guide them strategically to defeat whatever comes towards your territory. Your troops are known as the plants, each having a codename corresponding to the plant they are most like. Your plant soldiers are your allies, but they are also your friends. There are 5 different groups in total, each corresponding to the environment that they are best at with their line of defense: day, night, pool, fog, and roof. The story itself follows similarly to the original game, where each stage has to defeat its own wave of zombies until the source of the zombie waves shows up at your door, frustrated that you were able to defeat his army, Dr. Zomboz. Of course, you are victorious after your defeat, and then you have a dance party afterwards according to the game, but all is well and you are victorious. So now that the story is out of the way, let's meet the individual plants. Day plants. Pea shooter. Pea shooter's design I tried to model off the basic anime protagonists you see with the hair and the eyes. However, I still wanted to make him look somewhat unique by adding features like his ahoge to match the leaf coming out of the plant's hair. The overall color scheme of the clothes for Pea shooter as well as some of the day plants are a green uniform, inspired both off of army colors as well as the green stems. Sunflower. Sunflower's color palette is based off of the warm colors of the head and the petals. Her hair represents the shape of the petals, and her outfit is inspired slightly from gardeners with the overalls and gloves. Cherry Bomb. The outfits of the twins, Cherry and Bomb, are opposites of the other plants, in which their hair is green while their outfit is another color, representing the structure of a cherry. My vision for the two are of angsty, angry teens who let their anger out through battle. Walnut. Walnut is a round, friendly fellow. Since he's a defensive character, I naturally thought of him with a shield, specifically inspiring off of army shields. He wears loads of armor for his own protection. Potato Mine. Potato Mind's design is slightly inspired off of the base design, but also off of characters like Mole from Atlantis and surprisingly Izzy from Total Drama when it came to characters in the dirt as well as explosives. I wanted to add details such as dirt in her hair and clothes just to show how she loves being underground. Snow Pea. Snow Pea is the cooler middle brother of the Pea Shooter brothers. Unlike his other brothers, I wanted to picture him with an icy cool exterior, him having a freeze gun as well as wearing a hoodie to keep warm from the cold. His high ponytail represents the icicles on the plant's hair. Chomper. Since Chomper is a plant that eats zombies, I picture Chomper to be somewhat of a demon, evident by the ears and the teeth that he has. With no visible eyes in the design, a classic decision is to draw him with his bangs covering his eyes, potentially hiding any horrors from your human mind. Repeater. As the eldest brother of the Pea Shooters, I wanted to have Repeater be a lot more serious and experienced in battle. He has a lot more sharper features compared to Pea Shooter to distinguish the two, as well as having 2 dual guns to represent his ability. Night plants. Puff Shroom. For the shrooms in general, my brain thinks of the tops as hats, so naturally for the majority of the shrooms, they have hats. So for Puff Shroom, he is a smaller rounder guy ready to help with his strong range. The uniform he wears, along with some of the other shrooms, are white to match their bodies. He has a small handgun to represent his little puffs. Sun Shroom. Sun Shroom is the cousin of the Shroom brothers. Practically glowing in the dark night, I wanted his color palette to be a lot lighter compared to the other mushrooms, giving him blonde hair to match his orange and yellow hat. Fume Shroom. Fume Shroom is the eldest of the Shroom brothers, big and mighty. I wanted to portray him with a bigger build to match his mushroom size, as well as giving him a fume gun to match his plant, inspired slightly from the fatigue cryo enemies you fight against in Genshin Impact. Gravebuster. With Gravebuster's design, I wanted to incorporate a mask with her appearance to remain more spooky and creepy. In addition, I wanted to add vines to her hair to tie the look together. In her arms carry a hammer used for smashing graves, the personified version of Gravebuster, since originally the plant eats the graves. Hypnoshroom. Since Hypnoshroom has the power to turn zombies onto the plant side, I decided to turn her into a witch character, who longs for peace amongst plants and zombies. In-game, the Hypnoshroom has to be eaten for the ability to take place, but for our Hypnoshroom, it's purely power-based. Skitty Shroom. Skitty Shroom is the middle brother of the Shroom brothers. I wanted to portray him as a frail, timid guy who cowers behind his weapon as well as his brothers. I also wanted to try and make his design as plain as possible. Ice Shroom. I wanted to make his design unique since in comparison to the other night plants, he is completely blue. Because of this, I decided to give him a fur coat and other layers. Doomshroom. Doomshroom is also unique in a sense where his initial plant is 100% a unique color, this being black. With his initial design being all black with glowing red eyes, I was instantly reminded of a shadow, and somehow my mind wandered into a samurai type design. Definitely out of place, but somehow fitting with the wide range of plants that we have. Pool plants. Lily pad. I went through a lot of ups and downs, trials and errors of lily pad's design, especially since I wanted to incorporate actual lily pads, but I decided that her abilities would be more towards the power of controlling their movements within the water rather than herself being an actual lily pad. Her outfit, as well as strictly pool-based plants outfit, is based off of marine outfits. Squash. Squash is a big, strong man who communicates in strictly grunts or small noises. His shape and overall design, I tried to stay true to his nature as a squash and give him weight to be able to crush his foes. Three-Peter. Three-Peter is the cousin of the Pea Shooter brothers and is an inventor. I was heavily inspired by Doc Ock, specifically the Spider-Verse version of her, and I also had some TikTok commenters compare her to Hanji from Attack on Titan, which is a bit of an inspiration for her initial personality as well. Tanglekelp. Tanglekelp's design had the same direction of Doomshroom, in which I wanted them to be a shadow. For Tanglekelp, I took inspirations from both Medusa as well as Palm from Hunter x Hunter, because I really wanted to emphasize the vines as hair. Jalapeno. Jalapeno was a bit trickier for me to design since I wasn't too sure where to incorporate the curve of the jalapeno, as well as the color schemes that he had. It took a lot of inspiration from Junkrat from Overwatch as the base inspiration while trying to keep the original expressions of the jalapeno in place. Spikeweed. Spikeweed is actually one of my favorite designs I somehow ended up with because I had a lot of ups and downs with this guy too, not knowing what to make out of him. One of the directions I wanted to take was more of a lazier approach since he's on the ground, but eventually turning into a more punk aesthetic. Torchwood. Torchwood's design is directly inspired by the plant design itself, a hair full of flames and a fiery expression. He has a tough exterior and piercing eyes that are ready to support his fellow pea shooters. Tallnut. The older, taller brother of Walnut, Tallnut also carries a mighty shield to help defend and protect his friends from zombies. He is still resourceful and protective, just like his brother. Fog plants. Seashroom. Seishun is a younger boy who loves the water, his mushroom top acting as a bucket hat while he wears the same underwater uniform as the other water plants. Plantern. I had a lot of different designs in mind for Plantern, but I decided to settle with a design inspired by handheld lanterns and base her off of a weary traveler who helps guide the way through the fog. Cactus. With her grim and prickly appearance, I wanted Cactus to seem like she had a tough, older appearance, inspired slightly off of Wickerbottom from Don't Starve. I wanted to embody an older, slightly cranky woman. Blover. Blover's design was actually hard for me to come up with. I really wanted to incorporate the clover leaves within her hair, but it somehow seemed a bit weird to me. But then I realized this characters like Minji from Hunter x Hunter and Tamari from Naruto with those hairstyles. Speaking of Tamari, the usage of Blover's fans for her wind powers was also inspired by her. Split Pea. For Split Pea, brother of 3 Peter, and cousins of the Pea Shooter brothers, my immediate thought was to make them conjoined twins, seeing as the peas are quite literally conjoined. Though I know there are multiple different ways conjoined twins can appear, their appearance is inspired based off of the Rotile twins in Steven Universe as well as Carmen and Lupita, creators that I enjoy watching on TikTok. Starfruit. Starfruit's hair shape being directly from the shape of a star was one of the things I knew I wanted to incorporate. I also wanted to capture an upbeat attitude with her facial expressions and emphasize that yes, she is indeed a starfruit. Pumpkin. Pumpkin's appearance is also inspired by spooky related themes with the pumpkin itself acting as a head. I've always had this idea when wanting to design him, but I also couldn't help but think about Over the Garden Wall with the pumpkin people. Magnet Shroom. Magnet Shroom's design is different in comparison to the other plants as well as Shrooms. His unique appearance in-game caused me to think of an appearance that's also unique with his human form. I wanted to capture something a bit modern since his entire look is based off of his power of attracting metal. Roof plants. Cabbage Pult. Cabbage Pult is a cool kid, much similarly to the other main plants from the squads, like Pea Shooter. Being on a roof, I did want to give him, as well as the other plants, cooler casual attire, since a lot of the fighting is done at a distance instead of head-on. Flower Pot. Seemingly like a chill older plant, I wanted to incorporate that into her design, making Flower Pot an older woman and a grandma. After all, sometimes when I think of gardening, I think of old Asian grandma, since mine, as well as others, do enjoy gardening. Don't worry though, the plants do not sit on her like some people think. She is there to help support others with her gardening and pottery skills. Colonel Pult. I knew that the number one thing I must do for Colonel Pult is give him cornrows, so I did that. He is the eldest of the Catapult brothers, and I wanted to make him a bit more cautious in his appearance. Since he's oldest, he worries a little bit more. Coffee Bean. Coffee Bean's design is obviously inspired by a barista. She makes a lot of drinks for the plants, and I wanted to capture both her hyper energy from caffeine as well as slight sleep deprivation in her expressions. Garlic. Garlic's design, I knew I wanted to make him a little stinky, if that makes sense. His design was slightly inspired by McGucket from Gravity Falls and a bit of Fuzzy Lumpkins from Powerpuff Girls. Umbrella Leaf. The leaves the umbrella leaf has reminded me of hair, so I kind of wanted to make her hair full of volume and voluptuous in order for her to use the power of hair to her advantage, also as a shield. Marigold. Marigold's design, I wanted to be a bit cute and feminine like the cute flower she is. I initially wanted to showcase her holding coins to show her ability with finances, but I liked her oversized sleeve. Just notice she's good with the coins. Melon Pult. The middle and strongest of the Catapult brothers, Melon Pult's design is one of big and friendly nature. Curly hair to match the curly vines, I also wanted to incorporate some scars to show the lines from watermelons. Upgraded plants. The upgraded plants are what the name suggests. The present plants have upgraded features, or in the lore of these characters, the special features that the highest ranking plants obtain. Repeater obtains upgraded weapons which turns them into Gatling Pea. Sunflower enhances her stun abilities by channeling her energy to create another self. New Fume upgrades causes Fume Shroom to become Gloom Shroom. Lilypad embraces her hidden interest for cats to become Cattail. Melon Pulp becomes newly attuned to ice powers and becomes Wintermelon. Magnet Shrooms attains new powers to help Marigold turn metal into currency, as he is Gold Magnet. New armor upgrades allow Spike Leak to become Spike Rock. And Colonel Pult gets a hold of powerful cannons to become Cop Cannon. For the last plant imitator, he is basically inspired off of a mime. He is very silent and he doesn't speak much, but he likes imitating others, and feels more comfortable doing so. And that, my friends, are all of your companions who have protected you since day one, and the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for going through this video, and especially those who originally saw the plants on TikTok and came here to see the ending of this series. What were your favorite plant designs? What's next in store after you defeat Dr. Zomboss? Do you and your troops go and take on your next zombie enemy that can potentially come by? Or have you completed your goal and allowed all your plant friends to go their separate ways and live their life? Do you finally get together with the plant that you're secretly in love with? Yeah, see here's some comments. Ultimately, the rest of the story is up to you, so I want to see what you have in store for your journey in the comments if you were the protagonist of this story. Well guys, this has been really fun. At least I can leave this behind me and never do something like this again. Until next time.